Impact Wrestling. Now, I'm going to say this. With some of the issues that TNA has, you try to look past it because it's TNA. We're getting new stuff from TNA because of the work they're doing with NXT. And a lot of people willing to, not really pay attention to it. But I'm going to say this. Here in El Paso, Texas, in this show particularly, I'm going to say this. It was good. It has issues. Of course it does. Like any show, no matter. It's AEW, WWE, TKO, WWE, and TNA. They always got some type of problem or issue or something. But when you see good work, not just in ring work, general production work, you see actual storytelling. You can't just say, oh, this sucks, this is stupid. No. You have to acknowledge it. And I've always been honest. If I acknowledge something, I acknowledge it. If I don't, either I forgot or I don't believe it's worth it. And we'll always have, not in the general always agreeing on everything, but this is what you got. Here, it was good. It was generally good storytelling. Not bad. Now, knowing that they're going to be doing filming in El Paso at least maybe 1 or 2 more times, it's okay. There's no problem with it. And when you see the situation with the opening match, Rascals versus the Northern Armory, and seeing that the story that Eric Young has with Macklin, and when it comes to the 2 new rising stars, as Eric Young is trying to put it, at least it is building them. I am at least glad to see they are building a tag team. And when you look at AEW right now, where the tag division is barren, and that Dax Hardwood may break away from Cash Wheeler because of how Adam Copeland could not beat Jon Moxley. And I'm not saying that that's good storytelling. We don't know where they're going with that. But the problem is, they need tag teams. And just hinting at that is not helping them. But we look at the when you look at the the thing that's sticking for me when it comes to the Armory is how far they're going to go with Macklin and Eric Young. The Northern Armory, they got to make sure that Icarus and Williams is still being focused on. And I believe his name is Williams. But here, it's a great focus. And when you see after they lost to the Rascals, which is not surprising, it's Rascals, and then you see Macklin's vid pack talking about, I know what you did, Eric, and I'm still not going to join you. You wonder how far you're going to make sure that it's good to see that the Northern Armory is being focused on, but it does give you a little concern that once the storyline is over between Macklin and Eric Young, they may get dropped. Now, this is far, far from now. There's no way they're doing it right now. They are doing stories with them. But I have to mention it because it's good to see they're doing it, but there is the concern of what the story is going to be. It is a worry. It doesn't mean it has to happen that way. The rematch, Santana and Ali. Still a great match. Now, Ali supposedly has a broken jaw. Well, not broken jaw, but an injured jaw. And Santana has a hurt hand and still his elbow is messed up. That is the story they had next to what's going on with the Santana addiction. It was interesting to see that Ali did a count out. He legitimately reached a point where, you know what? I don't need to do this. I'm not the one with an addiction. He is. I don't need to prove anything. So he literally jumps out of the ring and jumps into the crowd and basically takes the count out. And he loses and Santana wins. And the thing I felt that was good was afterward when the cabinet came together. Well, of course, you saw what happened with the Great Hands taking him to the SUV with Tasha Steelz. And she says he doesn't have to prove anything to Gia. The moment that he heard that he ran, he got out of the car, faced Gia, and said, I didn't run. I have nothing to prove. I beat him. This is over. I got nothing to prove. He gets into the car, and then they drive off. So it is good to see that there is storytelling here. Santana, basically, he did win, even though it wasn't a proper win. But you didn't have to sacrifice Ali's and his story yet, because he wants to prove that he's better than Santana due to the fact he's not addicted to anything. And that's good to see. You don't see perfect storytelling here, but it is good storytelling. Next, Rosemary and Savannah Evans for Xia Li and Li Yang Li. And I'm like, okay, they are doing something here. They are setting this up. And I am happy to see that Xia Brookside, they're doing more with her. Saying that she has the killer instinct, but she doesn't want to use it. And they're using Rosemary to be the catalyst for that. At least it is development for Xia Brookside, because she was working with the Ashes at one point. And the key here is that they didn't do much after that. So it is good to see development. The match itself was alright. It wasn't one of the best I've seen. And seeing that Xia didn't get misted again, you didn't get Ling Yang Li to get misted again, it was Savannah Evans who got misted. And this is where one move that I think should never been done by Ling Yang Li, the former Xia Li. She tries to lift up Savannah Evans, which she does, and looks like she's going to try and do one of her moves, but she could not pull it off. She lost her balance, she couldn't hold her, and she flopped her onto the mat. It was bad. Yes, she tried to make up for it with the next move of the Thunder Strike, which was fine. But I wish she had not done that. If she had done maybe she didn't need to do it looked like almost a helicopter spin. But if she had just done maybe an Alabama Slam or maybe a Death Valley Driver only. She didn't try to circle around to do it. She just did the Death Valley Driver. That would have been more effective. She's a strong-ass woman to be able to lift up a Savannah Evans. Savannah is not a light woman. She's a big-ass woman. So this is good to see. But then I was not fond of how that move looked so sloppy and bad. But let's take it for what it was. At least the ending with Thunderstrike wasn't bad. Final match, Elijah and Joe versus the System. Let's put this in perspective. The System, I still care about the System. They're not bad. But they need something. They need something more. I do not know what it is. I mean, Moose is still doing well, yes. When it comes to Eddie Edwards, when it comes to Brian Myers, they're a good tag team, yes. You see that JDC is good. Even when it comes to Alicia Edwards, they're good. But there's something missing. There is something missing. I don't know what it is. Maybe they need another member. And you could say, what about the Colognes? Well, they're not doing anything with the Colognes much. Have you seen them work with the Colognes a lot? No, at least not yet. And we need to see the Colognes more, which we have not seen yet. So that could be the issue. Or it could be something else. I just don't know. Match was fine. I wasn't too surprised that Joe Henry was going to get the pin. He got it. There you go. Now, here's where TNA was great. At least in the respect of storytelling and trying to build. Let's open with, what do I feel about what happened when it comes to Marsha Slam? You see me botching, because when I saw Marsha come out talking about a Cora Jade, which was fine. I'm glad, and it was good to see her put her over. But you see me botching because once I see Tessa Blanchard coming out, I'm like, really? No. And I know people would say, dude, it's perfect. No, it's not. Guys, Who has Tessa Blanchard gone through? Ling Yang Lee. One person. One. And that's the major issue for me personally. I want to see Tessa Blanchard go through the entire roster before reaching the current champion to show that she is willing to do what she says she can do, that she's the best wrestler. Has she gone through Rosemary? No. Has she gone through Xia Brookside? No. Has she gone through Savannah Evans? No. Has she gone through Spitfire? No. Has she gone through the Ashes? No. She's gone through only one person, no one else. And now all of a sudden she shows herself. And I truly believe this is not the right direction for her to do. I'm sure other people will say, dude, you just don't see it. No, I see it. And it worries me they're rushing this. This is not like it was with Trinity. It wasn't like that with Trinity. Trinity went through more than a few people before she went to Jordan Grace, before she went to Deonna Purrazzo, before she went through anyone, including a Mickie James. She went through other people before she won that championship. Yes, she did spend at least 3 or 4 months, and then she was given the opportunity, and then she lost, but still she went through other people before that happened. We have one match. One. And this is not right. Now, mind you, seeing JC James show up, nail the current champion, which fine. Next week, we're going to get that match, which gives her someone to go through, which is a great thing to see. This is one of the things I am happy about working with TKO WWE, that they're getting fresh meat, or at least more women that they could reuse more than a few times, that people will see somewhere else, and they will know who they are, and counting on how well they're being booked in NXT, it can reflect over here to a certain extent, like this. Now, of course, when the Santino Marella comes out and everyone is cheering for him in El Paso, he loved it, but he was not happy about what happened with JC James. He goes into the back, sees his daughter, says, you didn't tell me, and pretty much she said, look, I don't know, I wasn't told, but the only surprise is one you know, which is Chavo Guerrero. So, it was okay. I was not having a problem with it, other than her showing up. And now she's banned from ringside. And that doesn't fill me with a lot of confidence, guys. I'm sorry. I am not fond of this. It worries me they're rushing Tessa Blanchard because she has not gone through any of the other women. I'm sorry. This is how I feel. You may not like it. I don't care. It's the truth. Next. Let's talk about the Nimitz. And let's talk about what we got when it came to Leon Slater. I'm going to say this. Opening with Ryan was fine. Nick talking the way he did was fine. He was going to say what he was going to say. He said the place really became great when TNA renewed their old name was because of him. And let's be honest, he wasn't totally wrong. Him, Mustafa Ali, Trinity, who was the champion who transitioned from Impact over to TNA, they helped the brand. There's no lie. Those three helped TNA. Before this partnership happened, Trinity started, then Ali, Trinity, and then Ryan, which is fine. I'm glad to see that it happened. Okay? I'm not telling you that it was wrong that these three were brought in to be able to help the brand of Impact TNA. They all did their part. But here, the thing that I was very interested was Leon Slater. Finally, Leon Slater is being utilized. He has been in the back for so long. What is the guy? Attenda Gunjer. I don't know if he's still part of TNA. I think he's gone now. But they showed him a lot. But the problem was that they didn't really give him much development. They didn't work with the Debsy Hit Squad. They didn't work with Rohit Raju, Shira, and Raj Singh. They left him in a small box working with only Indian wrestlers most of the time. And that was wrong. He should have been working with other people, and eventually he did, but I felt like they could have done more with him. And then Leon Slater got signed, and he's just done mostly matches, no story behind it, until he started working with the Hardys, and now we get this. This is generally his first real taste of a storyline. And I gotta say, what he did, Leon did very well, particularly when they were talking about saying that Ryan's eyes bug out, that he basically said that, Nick is a bitch. Not in all those words. And Nick acted the way he did. But when everyone was booing Nick, Leon did the one thing that very few wrestlers of this generation understand. When the crowds are booing, if you got a live mic, you don't automatically talk quickly. You wait. You let the crowd dictate how this segment was going to go down. He waited a little bit to see how loud they were going to get and how rowdy they were going to get when it came to Nick and booing them in Spanish, saying you suck. And then he spoke. I felt that was a great thing he did. So it looks like if the Hardys are working with him when it comes to promos, he's been learning. Because many of them just talk, or many of them just act out. No, he waited. That shows that he may be able to understand psychology, and that is how you really get relevancy. And now, he's going to have a nap. Well, pretty much Ryan said, my big brother is going to beat your ass like he did Matt next week. And now we're going to get that match. Next, the segment with First Class's Penthouse segment. I'm like, okay, we get a Penthouse segment from First Class, their show. And I'm like, do I actually want to see this? And to be honest, when I first saw it, I was not interested. Now, seeing how KC is doing well, seeing how AJ Francis talks, and seeing how the crowd boos it, not just because they may think, oh, this is just trash. They just boo it. So it could get over as a segment from two heels that people just can't stand. And if they ever transition to faces, it may work as also a show for faces. But they got to keep trying to hit at it. And seeing that Chavo was the one that came in. Didn't have a problem with Chavo. I like Chavo. Seeing that he's from El Paso, of course. Same place from Eddie, yeah. And everyone wants to do the Eddie bit. It is so played out. I'm going to be honest here. For me personally, I don't want to see people show the tribute to Eddie every single time. This is me. If you want to honor someone, you don't do the same like this every time you're in the ring about to do a splash. Sometimes to truly honor that person is not to do the move with this before it, but to do the move and to do it correctly. And then, when you keep doing it correctly all the time, once in a while, you show the respect of doing this. That shows that you really care about Eddie and not just trying to get your damn self over using Eddie's legacy. This is what they don't understand. You do the same thing over and over again every single time does not mean it's right. And I know people are going to say, dude, they cheer all the time. Yeah, they cheer because it's just automatic at this point. You see Eddie, you cheer automatically. Doesn't mean you're happy that you're being honoring Eddie. It just, that's what we do. It's like CM Punk. And it's like, let's go Cena sucks. It's something that's automatic to everyone now. Not just they respect or honor or hate. It's just you just do it. And that's when you lose it. That's how I feel. But seeing Chavo there, and now they actually dropped a little bit of Dominic because AJ Francis say, you're not running the better Guerreros. Guess what? There's one, I know a Guerrero. I know Dom. He's a better Guerrero. And when it comes to Chavo saying, that's still out on if he is who he is because we still don't know. because Eddie was charismatic, Eddie was hot, and Eddie just did whatever he did when he wanted to go. They ain't doing that, but you get my point. But here's the thing. The Aztec Warriors. Now, of course, the Laredo Kid is there. I don't recognize the other guy. I didn't really, like I said, I haven't had a chance to see a lot of TNA when this new guy came in, so I don't know his name. You can leave the name below. But seeing that there is a Spanish tag team, fine. I'm okay with that. I'm okay to see this. Seeing next week they're going to try and do something with Aztec Warriors, I'm fine with that. Working with not just KC, working with AJ Francis, but also Kaz. Kaz butted heads with Chavo, saying I'm still pissed off at what happened in 2012 when I was trying to get the tag titles, when you and Hernandez screwed me over, which did happen. So I can say, this is alright. It's not one of the best segments, but it is a segment that we need. If you're trying to put over a new tag team, which is the Aztec Warriors, use some other people. There you go. The last thing I'm going to talk about, and here it is. Whoo! The Knockouts tag titles are getting some love. Now, that's not the title I'm using. You see the title I'm using. But let's put it like this. The Ash is coming out, and, look. Heather don't got no boobs, but she's still damn good looking. And Ash has the boobs, and she got the looks. But I'm like, I don't know. I knew this was going to happen. I knew they're going to have some type of segment, because that's just how Ash, the former Dana Brooke, is. That's just how she is. And it's good to see they did do this. Now, what made this interesting, not about the cake, which is supposedly $500 and probably only about $10 to $15. We get the Meta Girls coming out, which I wasn't surprised. They showed up before and sacrificed, and we now know they're going to be dealing with them. But then Spitfire comes out and speaks, because once we get the Meta Girls coming out, this Miss Bougie Bully and Miss Action Jackson, not that, but you know what I'm talking about, they want those titles because they've been underutilized in NXT. Then we get Spitfire when they want to do their contractual rematch. Then we get Gigi Dolan and Tatum Paxley, who is a team, even though we have not, there is no Chelsea Blackheart with them because that was part of their team. But they came. And now we have two new teams who have shown up out of nowhere. And now we have something, and I'm sure that was all the teams, right? Let me make sure that's all the teams. Tatum Paxley, Spitfire, and the Meta Girls. Yeah. If I'm missing something, I'm sorry. It's just seeing that this has been done. Seeing that we got more teams that are not just recycled teams like Spitfire dealing with Ashes again. We have the Meta Girls. Oh, something fell. And we got Gigi Dolan and Tatum Paxley. It's good to see this. This is what we needed. I'm glad to see this. We got two other women from somewhere else that are known and do have some charisma, some leeway, some known. And now we have them here. And we could do something with them. And I'm glad they are going to do something with them. Question is, will they do a lot with them? It's not about they're going to win the titles, because I still don't believe that NXT is willing to take, well, they would be willing to take their titles and consider them interesting. But I don't know if this is an agreement that they're willing to switch titles between the companies. I do not know if they're going to do it. Anybody could say, well, they could do it. It's not the point if they could do it. It's the point if they're going to do it. Because we could have actually had Moose as AEW, well, not AEW, but NXT World Champion. Or we could have Ubafemi X Division Champion. We could have had that. But so far, they are not willing to cross-pollinate titles yet, if ever. But seeing this, at least we got new teams to work with. But this is just me, and I hope you enjoy this. Peace.